Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
I'm Jay Kohn. Janelle is off this evening. A 36-hour manhunt for an armed suspect on the Bozeman Pass ends in the man's arrest today. Word of Chauncey Cole's capture came when the Park County Sheriff's Office posted this picture with the caption, "We got him." Social media all abuzz with news of Cole's arrest this afternoon. It took an impressive amount of teamwork to bring Cole into custody, from ground to air, from two-legged to four-legged. Nearly a dozen crews searched for the suspect, who shot at and then eluded officers for nearly 2 days. MTN's Mallory Peebles reports.
Around 1 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, the intense manhunt that had over a dozen agencies involved, stretching from Lewis and Clark County to Billings, finally came to an end. Aside from daily trains, people living on Quinn Creek Road enjoy a lot of peace and quiet. That all changed when a massive search effort from the sky and ground kicked off Wednesday, when the Park County Sheriff's Office says Chauncey Cole shot at them following an attempted DUI stop. Authorities say they have been on the lookout for Cole for weeks. He's suspected of a home burglary also in this area.
A motorcycle stolen and some other stuff. Ended up being a pursuit to Billings, and he evaded officers there in Billings, and we've been looking for him ever since.
The search hit a critical moment Thursday afternoon.
We got a call from a resident up here. On the phone, she said, "He's at my front door. The guy you're looking for is at my front door."
Indeed, it was him. Intensity quickly building upon the situation for law enforcement and the homeowner.
First indications are that he was trying to break into the house. She barricaded herself in a room in her house, stayed on the phone with our people.
While outside, authorities surrounded the place with officers and 4 canines. They say Cole took off running, but 2 dogs quickly got a hold of him.
So we're very happy to have him in custody. No shots were exchanged between our teams and him.
Park County Sheriff Scott Hamilton attributes the safe ending to the skilled officers who came here from around the state.
We worked very hard to hold our perimeter and to keep him contained in here, and it worked. So I know he felt the pressure.
Now that pressure is lifted from neighbors as well. Authorities packing up their command station so life can return to normal on Quinn Creek Road. While the search has ended, this is just the beginning of what's to follow in court. Attempted deliberate homicide is what Cole faces for this incident. Reporting from Bozeman Pass, I'm Mallory Peebles, MTN News.
Thank you, Mallory. Now, Cole is believed to be the same man who eluded officers in downtown Billings just 2 months ago. A motorcycle pursuit back on May 17th that started in Livingston ended some 100 miles away on the Magic City's north side. Deputies from Park and Stillwater counties, along with troopers from the Highway Patrol, pursued the suspects for a reported burglary. The suspects led officers to an alley between North 24th Street and North 25th Street, just south of 6th Avenue. That's where they abandoned their motorcycle. Police officers from Billings set up a perimeter, but later determined the suspects somehow had got away. Park County authorities, as you heard, say they've been on the lookout for Cole ever since. Vice President Mike Pence will visit Billings July 24th, here to campaign for U.S. Senate candidate Matt Rosendale. Rosendale campaign spokesman Shane Scanlon confirms the visit, but could offer no immediate details on the vice president's visit. But a flyer announcing the event indicates the vice president will appear at a $10,000 per couple fundraiser and also will hold a public event for the nonprofit group America First Policies, where he'll focus on the Trump administration's tax cuts. This is the second visit to Billings for the vice president. Back in May of 2017, Pence came to Billings to support Republican Greg Gianforte just weeks prior to Montana's special U.S. House election. President Trump wrapped up a sometimes contentious meeting with NATO allies today in London. The friction centered around how much each country should spend on its military and how fast they could ramp up that spending. NATO allies had already agreed to increase spending to 2% of their GDP on the military by 2024. President Trump, though, demanded they reach that level quicker or double it to 4%. The president's demands had some diplomats questioning the long-term U.S.-NATO relationship, but President Trump insists that NATO is now better than ever. A former investigator for Special Counsel Robert Mueller testified before House lawmakers for the first time today about politically charged text messages that he sent criticizing President Trump. Angelica Alvarez has more for us on today's contentious hearing on Capitol Hill.
You swear that
FBI agent Peter Strzok appeared before the House Judiciary and House Oversight Committees Thursday, firmly denying FBI bias against President Trump.
I and the other men and women of the FBI every day take our personal beliefs and set those aside in vigorous pursuit of the truth.
But the hearing quickly dissolved into partisan bickering.
the gentleman is not recognized, and the chairman is not being proper.
And personal attacks.
How many times did you look so innocent into your wife's eye and lie to her about Lisa?
Mr. Chairman, this is outrageous.
Strzok was kicked off special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation over politically charged text messages he exchanged with Page, a former FBI lawyer, criticizing then-candidate Trump.
Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? And you replied, no? No, he's not. We'll stop it.
That text was written late at night in shorthand.
I don't care when it was written. I don't care whether it was longhand, cursive.
President Trump has repeatedly pointed to Strzok's private text messages to prove the Russia investigation is a witch hunt.
This investigation is not politically motivated. It is not a witch hunt. It is not a hoax.
Throughout the hearing, Strzok pushed back against lawmakers using his words to undermine the FBI.
They would not tolerate any improper behavior in me any more than I would tolerate it in them. That is who we are as the FBI.
Strzok is currently still working with the Bureau, but is the subject of an internal investigation. Angelica Alvarez, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, both Strzok and Page also worked on the FBI investigation into Democrat Hillary Clinton's emails. Page left the FBI earlier this year. She's expected to meet privately with lawmakers tomorrow. Well, when it comes to wind power, Montana still is a relatively small player in the region. But as MTN's Mike Dennison shows us tonight, that's about to change.
If Montana intends to greatly expand its wind power production, that power must be sold and delivered outside the state to population centers on the West Coast.
We have some of the best wind potential in the nation. But we are an exporter of energy, and one thing that we need to be able to figure out is how to get that wind to markets that not only want it, but need it.
Toward that end, Governor Bullock, the Bonneville Power Administration, utilities, and developers took a hard look at our transmission system and unveiled a plan of action last month. The plan says some additional room on existing transmission lines is available right now, and another big chunk of power line capacity will become available in 3 or 4 years, when Colstrip Power Plants 1 and 2 shut down and are no longer using that space.
When the Colstrip units start shutting down, that capacity can continue to be used. There's no need to strand that asset or to abandon the transmission system that we currently have. That should be fully utilized by new wind or solar projects that can deliver that power, that energy across the system.
Governor Bullock and BPA, the Bonneville Power Administration, has taken steps to address those transmission constraints recently, and I think that we're on the cusp of moving large amounts of renewable energy out of state in order to meet the needs of Pacific Northwest utilities.
Yet fully upgrading the transmission system so it can deliver new wind power will take some additional investment. A Northwestern energy official who helped guide the action plan says that means utilities in the Northwest must commit to buying that power.
I think the next most important step is there a commercial deal to be done between developers and those parties that need those renewable resources in their portfolio. So to me now it's really a supply and demand question.
If these transmission bugs get worked out, a lot of wind power and other large projects are definitely in the pipeline in rural Montana. We'll take a closer look at some of those projects tomorrow. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And Mike tells us right now as much as 3,000 megawatts of renewable power development is currently on the drawing board here in Montana. Turning our attention now to weather. Well, Bob, it looks like our temperatures will be heating up over the weekend. Another reminder to take extra precaution with kids and pets where cars and vehicles are concerned.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast your car can turn into an oven. So we thought we'd show you a graphic and explains all of this. Here's what happens. The solar shortwave radiation comes into the glass of the car, and then that refracts that energy, and then it turns the shortwave radiation into longwave radiation, which then in turn gets trapped inside the car and actually starts to heat it up. And so here's what will happen. The result is this. 90 degrees outside can equal 124 degrees inside in as little as 30 minutes. So anything that lives, whether it be children children, animals, or the elderly, they're going to be in terrible shape after 30 minutes because it's going to be just that hot. We're expecting a warm-up tomorrow. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few more minutes. Jay?
All right, thank you, Bob. Still to come on tonight's 10 o'clock news, when it comes to beating cancer, sometimes a surprise attack can be your first line of defense. Plus, Pay Your Age left people waiting for ages at Build-A-Bears nationwide. In a moment, we'll check out the Build-A-Bear craze in Billings. Later in sports tonight, the struggling Mustangs find energy and offense from an unlikely source. Highlights on the way.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Kohn and Janelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.